night and good day and all the things to everyone. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? You look so cozy.
I am feeling very cozy. I decided I wanted to be comfy and cozy while we recorded today, because it's my day off, and I have a random day off in the middle of the week for voting, which is great. So I'm in my bed and I'm under a blanket and I'm having a lovely day. How are you?
I forgot, what else did you want to do? Clean or something? Did you? Oh no, it's in the
Yes,
morning.
but
You're going to do this after.
Yeah, so my plan for the day was record a podcast, hang out some with Hannah, and then clean my house. Luckily, unluckily, it rained this weekend, so we could not go camping, which was tragic, but also meant that we already cleaned our house.
Oh, yay.
So I don't have to clean today. I can finish sewing the seam onto this curtain that I started last week. Well, I started the curtain a long time ago. When we bought the blackout curtains, I was like, I'll just cut this one off and then, get part of the bottom to sew on the rest of the hem. And then now it's just been rough cut for about 6 months.
Yeah.
But I think I might do that today.
Oh, yay.
It'll be really exciting.
That sounds exciting. That's good. You enjoy sewing, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
I do enjoy sewing. I do. I'm not great at it. And I don't have the, level of focus that it requires to really, do higher level sewing. Same reason I don't do higher level knitting. But, simple stuff like sewing the end of a curtain on, I can totally do that.
Yeah.
I
think I could even do that. So that's nice.
I think you totally could.
Because I do not enjoy sewing.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
This might be boring to some people, I just realized. We're not going to talk about
What
sewing
do you
for
mean?
half an hour.
Talking about curtains and sewing? Totally fascinating.
Yeah. Should we go into the topic nonetheless?
Sure, let's move on.
I'm also a little bit antsy, I think, because I was so late.
I see that.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. And I also feel like it's been forever that I've recorded a podcast with someone. Which
Really?
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, I feel that way, but you have 2 podcasts, so.
Yeah, but I think for the other podcast, it has been even longer than I recorded with someone else.
Wow.
So, yeah, it has been a long time.
There you go.
Anyways, what are we talking about today?
Well, we decided to talk about identity stuff and how your identity does or doesn't change when you have a kid, but how you imagine it to be, and then my experience of it as a brief overview. There you go. That's what we decided to talk about.
Great.
How are you feeling about this energy that's happening today?
Yeah, let's be honest. We also struggled with this, what we were going to talk about today.
We did.
We went through a few ideas and we weren't feeling any of them. And then we looked at our old topic list and found this and we're like, yeah, we can talk about this. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where to start if that hasn't been obvious.
I think the topic title that we had in the list was, Will I Still Be Me When I Have a Kid?
Yeah. Should I read it? Yeah, will I still be me when I have a kid? What will happen to the life I live now?
Yeah. And I do think those are two different questions.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much still me, I think, and I don't know that most people would anticipate becoming a different person. Although there is a narrative of like totally losing yourself in parenthood, especially motherhood and that sort of thing. I don't think I anticipated that. Do you have any concerns about that?
No.
Yeah, I imagine a fairly consistent through. That was really good contribution, Hannah. Thank you very much.
Well, you were in the middle of a thing. I can elaborate, but I wanted you to finish your thing.
Oh, I was just going to say, but the life is totally different.
Mm.
And the life that I lived before was totally different. Not in like core motivation kinds of ways, but my everyday life is unrecognizable.
Okay, my mind's all over the place. I think we could talk about all of this for 3 hours.
Well, that's
so
good.
many questions. We're not gonna. But I'm like trying to decide where to go, what to ask. So like to the first question, will I still be me? Yes, in your case. And to the second question, what will happen to the life that I live now? It'll be different. She gone. Okay, yeah, we're going there. Yeah, I think about that a lot. And I think that's part of what gives Mateo so much anxiety. Then he's like, what is our life gonna be like then? And like,
yeah.
Also the first part, I think, like what will happen to me and how will I feel and what will I be and like will I measure up to the expectations that I have and
yeah, all that's very real.
Yeah. And yeah, I think about that a lot too. Like what will my life be like? And I don't think it's possible to have an answer to that before it happens.
Yeah.
So I think I've even stopped trying to imagine because it's like not doable. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It is interesting though. I mean, the being me thing. I am different. Like I'm still me, obviously. I feel like you can't. Well, I won't say you can't, but I didn't change fundamentally. But I am in a new body. Like my body's really different.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go bra shopping. These things are only going down so much, you know. So that definitely takes some getting used to. I'm still working on that, still getting to know it. And I have found myself to be, I don't know, I think most people that have kids have this experience where they're like, oh, I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know that I could get up at 6 a.m. every morning and hang out with someone. I didn't know that I could. I don't know.
Breastfeed and cook and talk on the phone all at the same time.
Yeah. That. I didn't know that I could have consistency in my life. Like for me, right? I have not been in my life previously someone that thrives on routine. Or at least I've never had the motivation to create a routine that I was into.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's a different way to say that, but we'll leave it there. And my life is very routine oriented right now.
Mm-hmm.
By necessity. Because babies and toddlers necessitate routine if you're looking for any kind of peace in your life. So I'm consistently surprised and impressed that I can do the same thing every day.
Mm.
Yeah, I even eat the same breakfast every day now, which is crazy.
That started in pregnancy, though. Right?
It did start in pregnancy. Yeah, no, it's still baffling to me. Still totally baffling to me.
I get that.
Yeah.
And is that now because you like it and you thrive on it, or out of necessity because you do not have the brain space to ask yourself that question in the morning? What do I want to eat? And you just...
Yeah, I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I think, yes, what you just said.
Right. Yep.
It frees up brain space, which helps me have a good time in my life.
Yeah.
Which probably is what routine is about for everybody else the rest of the time.
Yep.
Right? And
Sure is.
Yeah. I just had so much brain space to work with.
Yeah.
I just had so much brain space.
Oh, that just scared me.
Well, sorry.
No, also scare is a big word. I didn't.
Sure.
But, because I already feel like I'm lacking brain space, which is because, I was going to say is my fault, but I don't want to use that. So I'll try to explain. I get easily excited about things that I want to learn and do, and can you hear that?
No. Was it your stomach?
Yeah. And then I get overwhelmed by all these things I want to do, which I'm doing to myself. And that's where like the lack of brain space comes from, that I am doing to myself. So this is something that I can just work on, because I know that it's better for me to focus on one or two things and then go to the next.
Right.
Yeah. And because that is like still a topic in my life, still something that I'm working on. This, what you said was just like, oh, that's just gonna make it, like, that just made it even more important to figure this out for myself.
In good news, there will only be room for one or two things.
Yes.
So it will get a lot easier to prioritize those one or two things because you won't have room for the other stuff.
Yeah.
What I have found, I also get really excited about new things. And now I really get to decide on the day when I have space to do a thing that's just for me. What am I most excited about? What am I like thrilled to do today? Or what is the thing that is alternately not so excitingly? What's the thing that's been like bugging me in the back of my brain and tickling my brain and taking up space that I need to finish and end and no longer give space to in my brain, like the curtain. Because I see it every day when I go to bed and every day when I come into my room. And when the baby's sitting on the bed and starts tugging on it. I'm like, oh God, because it's like a frayed hem. So there's just like strings hanging down, and touches Hunter when he sleeps. And so like it takes up space in our life, this lovely rough cut hem. So that's the other thing. You don't necessarily always end up doing the most exciting thing. You do the thing that will afford the rest of your life a little more space.
Yeah. Which ends up being exciting, right? Because you're like, oh,
yeah,
I can breathe again. Right.
It's such a relief. It's such a like, even something so tiny, it's a weight off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also something I'm really curious about. Like, okay, what are the things that are going to fall away? What are the things that I'm no longer going to care about?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, I do still have so many things that I hold on to and like keep gathering more, all the while noticing that it's not serving me well. So I also think about it in those terms. Like, okay, I'm excited about having this accelerator, this push. And in that aspect, like, what will fall away? What will I prioritize? What will I learn about myself? How will I change? What will I find out about myself? Like you said, like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Like, oh, I didn't know I could, like, sleep. I know everyone talks about sleep. I really like sleeping, and I'm really a better person when I've slept enough and well.
Oh, girl.
So, and I know everyone feels that way. So I'm really, really curious how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
For me. And I don't know, I like to dedicate a lot of time and energy into preparing my food. And right? Exactly. So I'm like, how is that gonna go? Like, which shortcuts am I gonna learn? Stuff like that. How am I gonna meditate with the baby crawling all over me? How am I gonna get my yoga and like all those things? Like, which new methods I'm gonna learn for myself to thrive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like everything, it's a process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do all those things.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured out the cooking thing. The food situation. There is a reason why there are so many blogs titled 5 weeknight meals in 30 minutes or less, right?
Yeah.
So that one I'll keep you posted if I figure it out. You can let me know when you're there what your secret is.
Yeah.
Which may end up being like, on Thursdays I spend 4 hours in the kitchen and my partner watches the baby all that evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's where the priorities set in, because there's only so many of those days available, right? There's only so many days of the week where you can say, I need this chunk of time, or I need this thing on a consistent basis all the time. We talked about it in I don't remember what the title was, but in an episode recently where we were talking about balance and new strategies for doing life, because every time I want to do something, it affects somebody else. And so you really do end up honing in on a few vital things. Yeah. Especially in this time of parenthood, when they need your involvement so much of the time to go about their day. And I've seen it, and it consistently is changing how much of my attention he needs, or how much of our attention he needs the whole time he's with us. fluctuates. And so on some days you can do more cooking, or on some days you can do more this or that or the other thing. But especially in this early time of parenthood where they're small, they need a lot of input. They need safety control because their bodies are more ambitious than their spatial awareness or balance are able.
Yeah.
It's definitely a choice to go, what are the things that I need to make me a person? What are the things that I need so that I can enjoy this day or this week or this month or this year?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're pretty good at that. I think you're going to be able to do that pretty well. But you do like to diffuse your attention. So,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'll definitely be a change.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be one of the big things, probably.
Yeah. Yep.
I also wonder about how the relationship to my partner is going to change. Like, sometimes I say to him, we already, because I'm so much in this space, in this parenthood space, where people say it's so important, like, from the start, continue your date night, or like, if you don't, 3 years are going to go by and you haven't gone on a date because you need to prioritize. And I go, we already don't do date nights. Like, what's gonna happen to us? And I'm like, we need to start doing date nights so our relationship doesn't go to shit when we have kids, which is obviously also like over the top, and me once again over analyzing and over worrying, because I mean, we're doing fine. Maybe we're just not the people that do date nights. Like, we connect differently. It's also, I think, a cultural thing.
It's also, I think, you spend a lot of one-on-one time together right now.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not intentional, like staring at each other's eyes and remembering why you love each other time, right? Like, you are...
It is, though.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
We're very kitschy.
No, that's amazing. That's fantastic. And so, like, you are getting what the value of a date night is on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The value of a date night when you have a kid is that you are separate from the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you are one-on-one with each other. And doing a little bit of staring in each other's eyes and remembering why you like each other. So, we didn't do date nights before either. And now we do some. The habit of a date night is a handy thing to have around, right? Like the practice of a night where it's intentionally set aside for the two of you.
Yeah.
Because that is hard to incorporate anew. But you definitely feel the lack of that if you're paying attention. And if you have the brain space to feel it. Which is, again, why the habit of it is helpful, because then you don't have to remember to think about the fact that you haven't spent one-on-one time with your partner recently.
Yeah.
So it is something that you definitely feel the lack of. And so for us, that has been a thing where we're like, we need to, like, even if it's not going out on a date night, we need to tonight not cook something complicated and just sit and hang out with each other. Like, tonight we need to order food and watch Bake Off, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's something that we have a pretty good feel for. So yeah, date nights, man.
Who knows? Maybe we will become the people that do date nights just to get away from the kid.
Yeah, I mean, getting away from the kid is a great way to really enjoy your kid.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Like today, we both have the day off. We could ostensibly keep our child home. What an exciting day it is that the two of us are home by ourselves and our baby is not here. It's amazing. So we did not do that. We didn't keep him home.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yay for daycare.
Yay for daycare. Childcare of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Bless them all.
I had a question. Is there anything that is different from your life before being a parent and now that you miss?
Yes.
That sounded like you wanted to say sex.
Oh, I mean, yep, that too. That's different. Especially when you're co-sleeping.
Mm.
But mainly just that there's a person around all the time that wants your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the spontaneous aspect of our life is vastly reduced.
Yeah.
Spontaneity is a lot less of a thing. It exists, but within smaller confines than it did before.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's an upside to that because it has made us stay home and be at home more. It has made me more checked into a routine, which turns out could be good for me too. And when I get an urge to do something or not do something, it's not always possible to let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sad sometimes. I also don't sit around and watch YouTube as much as I did before, which is kind of a good thing.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's not really a loss.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I can't just do what I get the urge to do, but I did spend a lot of time like sitting on my couch and reading, which was beautiful, but I get a whole different set of experiences now that I wasn't getting before.
Yeah.
Like, I go outside all the time now.
Mm.
I go outside in our front yard, which is like on a relatively busy street in our neighborhood. And so we're kind of on display. So I never went out there by myself before.
Mm-hmm.
But for my 15-month-old, freaking loves it. Our day is so much better when he's spent a large portion of it outside. I go outside all the time, go on walks all the time now. So it's definitely not being able to follow every instinct that I have is not a bad thing all the time. Sometimes it means that I can't do a craft that I wanted to do, and we can't go to the mountains for a weekend easily, and we can't, I can't binge read a book on a Saturday or binge watch a TV show on a Saturday, which were things that I really enjoyed sometimes. But I think that it's opened up a whole different set of experiences that I'm really glad I'm having. So yeah, unrecognizable life, mostly in good ways, also in exhausting ways. The sleeping thing is real.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think you already answered the follow-up question that I had for that. I was going to ask you about the other way around. And wasn't sure yet how to phrase that. And like I said, I think you already answered that.
What changes are you looking forward to? Can you imagine that you would be really happy about or grateful for? Other than, of course, getting to know this whole human. This is a self-centered episode of the podcast.
Well, earlier I was thinking that I'm also really excited to get to know me then and my partner and our relationship and how I relate to others differently than I do now. Mm-hmm. And what came up just now when you asked again, I thought I'm excited about exploring and re-experiencing everything in a different way. Like when you were talking about that you spend more time outside, that's also something I think about. Like I try so hard to take a walk every day, and it doesn't always work because, like we established, I am scattered on so many things that the day just flies by, and I go to bed and I realize, oh my God, I haven't stepped a foot outside today. And I don't like that. I like myself better. I like my life better when I do spend time outside. Like I feel alive when I do that, and I don't as much. I feel like I've lost out when I don't. Like I really need the connection to nature. So
yeah, same.
In terms of that, I think about that a lot too. Like, oh, that's great. I will have so much more reason and motivation to go outside. Because also sometimes I don't take a walk because it just doesn't sound exciting and it's just boring. I'm out of audiobooks. I don't feel like listening to my audiobook or a podcast, so I don't go outside because just doing that by myself is sometimes really boring. Sometimes that's all I need. But it often is also boring. So having this little creature with me that like everything is new and exciting.
Yeah.
That I so much look forward to that.
And on the boring note, sometimes it's lovely to have half an hour where you don't have to come up with an activity. You don't have to respond to anything. And they're just occupied by the outside, which is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's lovely to have half an hour to walk around.
I bet.
And do something boring.
Yeah.
Because your brain is constantly engaged the rest of the time. Yeah, it's so different. It's so different. Like, I don't even think about anymore that I need to go outside for my well-being because I'm outside so much. Yeah. Like, it's so crazy. You said that and I was like, oh yeah, I used to think that too. Like, I would spend a whole day and not go outside at all. And like, I haven't done that in months. Like, it's crazy to think about. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, I think that we've about rounded the corner on our time.
Yes.
I think we'd also be repeating ourselves if we kept talking about it. But this is cool. I like talking about this today.
Yeah, me too. This was fun.
Thanks for listening.
Tell us if you like.
We will.
What changed for you, what you were excited about, what you were surprised by, maybe. What if you're in my
I'd love
situation.
to hear what people are surprised by.
Yeah. I think I didn't ask you that. Were you surprised by anything? Or maybe they were teen stuff.
I think I did say a little, like, I'm surprised by what I can do in a day.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that's another one of those things that I look forward to. I'm like, I can't wait to feel like Superwoman because I did a million things on a day.
On 2 hours of again, sleep. You also feel totally obliterated at the end of some days.
I know.
And like, maybe I shouldn't have done quite that much.
Yeah, I know. But I also like that feeling. Oddly like it because it makes me feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were gonna go.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know what you were surprised by. Let us know if you're not a parent but plan on being a parent, what you look forward to, or maybe even what you're nervous about. And
I want to know both.
Yeah, we want to do all the things. Today, I'm remembering, please, if you're listening on iTunes, be so kind to give us a 5-star rating. That helps a lot.
Please do, yeah.
Send someone the podcast that, or like a specific episode, even better, that you think would be interested and it could be helpful for or entertaining or whatever. And yeah, that's it. End of plug. This is uncomfortable.
Look at you go.
Is this going to get better at some day?
Definitely. Probably not.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Till next week.
Thanks for
Bye.
listening. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.